What is good, YouTube? I'm here for my third annual top 10 draft picks from my perspective, and I will definitely try and keep it shorter than the last two. I don't want this to be as painful or as long, etc. So let's just get down to it. And may I remind you, I'll put a link to both those videos in the bottom. Last year I predicted Michael Carter-Williams would be the best player from the draft, and although time is still yet to tell, he was the Rookie of the Year. So I will say that confirmed some of my thoughts and whatnot on my selections. But I will say the last 2 years I've been kind of swayed a little bit by analysis online, other people's opinions, mock drafts, stuff like that. And this year I'm keeping it just to my opinions, just who I think will be good. So this is 100% how I feel. Some of the players I haven't seen a great deal, but again, there were picks that I made in the past that I was kind of swayed a little bit by. This is 100% all me this year, and we'll see how it goes. Number one, my number one best player, person I would pick with the first selection in the draft, hands down, no question about it, is Julius Randle. To me, he is. I've made this analogy to people before, or analysis, whatever you want to call it. He's effectively Antoine Walker with a brain. I also see a little bit of Zach Randolph in him. He is just tenacious, a monster. If I had the first pick, there's no question I would pick him. While he was at Kentucky, his numbers were 15 points, 10 rebounds, 1.4 assists, 50% from the field, and 71% from the free throw line. So that's my number one pick. Number two, also very easy. My 1 and 2, I kind of went back and forth between, but number 2, hands down, no question, Jabari Parker. I think the comparisons to Carmelo are actually unfair to Jabari Parker. I think he's going to be a much more versatile and all-around player than Carmelo. To me, Carmelo is one of the most overrated players in the NBA, and he's about as one-dimensional as it comes. He's just a pure scorer, and he isn't even that efficient. Jabari Parker can do it all. He's a good rebounder. He's got pretty good court vision, decent three-point shooter. But while he was at Duke, his numbers were 19, 9, 1.2 assists, 47% from the field, 36% from the three-point line, and 75% from the free throw line. He's my number 2 pick. Number 3, this may come as a surprise to some of you, but Gary Harris. I think he is unbelievable. Being an Illinois fan, I see tons of Big Ten games. That's probably why I rate some of these guys a little bit higher than other players. But Gary Harris, to me, is going to be a very, very solid NBA player. I don't know if he's going to be a perennial all-star, but with my number 3 pick, I would take Gary Harris. His numbers were 16.7 points, 4 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 43% from the field. So he wasn't a great field goal. He wasn't a great shooter necessarily, but his three-point percentage was 35%, and his free throw percentage was 81%. So I'm sure his effective shooting percentage wasn't too bad. So that's my number 3. Number 4, I'll go with Andrew Wiggins. I'm not sold on him yet. He put up decent numbers at Kansas, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 45% from the field, 34% from 3, and 78% from the free throw line. But some issues I have with him, he is not a good ball handler. He's very, very loose with his handles, and I think that's going to impact him greatly in the NBA, and a lot of people are underestimating that. I also think that he is not as he doesn't command the ball. He doesn't ask for the ball, and he isn't a LeBron type player where he's dishing it out, etc. He's a wing player whose job is to score, and he doesn't kind of have that command that you would like somebody like him to have. So I'm not sold on him, but just on upside alone, he would be an easy number 4 for me. And that the athleticism that he possesses is something that's very well valued in the NBA. Number 5, who I think is probably the best big man, and I wouldn't even consider him like a true big man, but that would be Aaron Gordon. His numbers at Arizona were 12.4 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 50% from the field, 42% from the free throw line. So that's a big weakness. He's going to have to work on his free throw shooting. But I think he's very athletic, runs the floor well. I think the comparisons to Blake Griffin are a little far-fetched, but I think he's going to be good and an effective player in the NBA. My number 6 player is Noah Vonleh. And again, being from the Big Ten, I saw him quite a bit. And in the beginning of the year, I wasn't sure why Crean wasn't playing him a great deal, because he was very good. He was very good as a freshman. His season stats ended up being 11.3 points, 9 rebounds, 0.6 assists, 52% from the field, and 72% from the free throw line. And he actually shot almost 50% from the three-point line. He didn't shoot a lot of them, but he does have nice touch on the ball, and I think he's going to be very, very good once he gets to the NBA and develops. Number 7, I have Joel Embiid, and I understand he hasn't played a great deal, and he does have a good amount of upside, and when he was good at Kansas, he was good. But the injuries, etc., I'm just not completely sold on him, and actually I thought Perry Ellis was... Early on in the year and towards the end, I thought Perry Ellis was almost the better and more effective player of the two, even though he has nowhere near as much upside, and even though it was the collegiate level. But I'll give Embiid my number 7. Number 8, I have Doug McDermott, one of the best college players over a 4-year span since probably J.J. Redick and Adam Morrison. But and Adam Morrison, we all know what happened there. J.J. Redick, he's still been a pretty effective player in the NBA. McDermott, his numbers were 26.7 points, 7 rebounds, 1.6 assists, 53% from the field, 45% from the three-point line, and 86% from the free throw line. So he's probably the most prolific and most efficient scorer in college basketball. And this is after his switch to the Big East. He actually put up better numbers than he did in the Missouri Valley. I don't know who I would compare him to in the NBA. I think he's kind of similar to a Paul Pierce type, but he plays inside and out. I think he'll be effective probably anywhere he goes, and I think he is kind of underrated from an athleticism standpoint, but I think he's going to be good. He knows the game well. Number 9, this guy absolutely annoyed the hell out of me and was an Illini killer every time he played us, and that's Nik Stauskas. This guy has one of the best shots I've seen in a long time. He is just a sniper, and he's very, very he's a very good ball handler, and he also is very athletic. It may surprise you, but he's very athletic. He doesn't look as athletic as he is, I should say. But while he was at Michigan, his numbers were 17.5 points, 3 rebounds, and 3.3 assists, 47% from the field, 44% from the three-point line, and 82% from the free throw line. So I think he's going to be good when he gets to the NBA. He's got decent size, too, at 6'6". And number 10, this may surprise some of you guys, and he's one of the sleepers in my opinion, and that's Cleanthony Early. He played for Wichita State, and I thought he was very, very good. He showed how good he was in the NCAA tournament. His season numbers were 16.4 points, 6 rebounds, 49% from the field, 38% from the three-point line, and 84% from the free throw line. And to me, he kind of is similar to Kawhi Leonard, and I think he's going to sneak up on people like that. Give him 2 or 3 years, and I think he's going to be very, very good. As far as my sleepers go, Glenn Robinson is one of my sleepers. I think he's going to be very good in the NBA. James Young from Kentucky. He's a monster, and he has room to grow. Spencer Dinwiddie, I think he's a oversized guard who's going to be effective and have a long career in the NBA. And then somebody who, if it weren't for injuries, probably would have been a top 5 or top 10 pick last year, and that's Mitch McGary. His options were kind of running out after he got busted multiple times, I think, for smoking pot. My recollection may not be perfect on that, but I know he had some off-the-court issues at Michigan. But I think if his health is back to or close to 100%, he's going to be good. He's a beast. So that's my take this year. Again, it was still kind of long, but not as long as the past 2 years. Let me know what you think. I'd love to see your comments in the bottom. As far as some of the guys I didn't mention, Dante Exum, I'm not sold on. Marcus Smart, he's the most overrated player in the draft, in my opinion. Elfrid Payton, I've seen the highlights, but again, not completely sold. Rodney Hood, overrated. So that's just my 2 cents. Love to hear your guys' opinion. Rate, comment, subscribe. I'm out.